Hey everybody, Corey the scruffy looking nerd hoarder here. Today we are going to do an unboxing. Got it right there. Had this on pre-order for a while, came in about 3 days ago, and today we're going to open it. What is it? Well, it is the first really big home console that I remember having. So, without any further ado, let's go ahead and get started with the unboxing, and then we'll talk about what's in there after we see what it is. Now, the first thing I'm noticing is I've got my Darth Vader Edition Original 2600 out, and this box is smaller than this console, so apparently this thing is not the same size. It is a bit smaller, but let's get it open and see what's inside. Okay, gotta admit, that's pretty adorable. What we have here? Let's see what we have in this thing. Okay, we have a USB cable. Oh, nice. They actually provided an HDMI cable. Awful big box for just those two things. But hey, fancy logo. The Mount Fuji logo. We have the quick guide on how to hook it up. Oh, so interesting. Okay, this is a bit annoying, actually. Looking at the contents, got the video game system, the 10-in-1 cartridge, joystick, the HDMI cable, and a USB power cable. But they did not provide anything for that power cable to plug into. You have to provide your own USB adapter for power. And that doesn't give any information as to how much power it needs. I mean, that's pretty annoying, actually. Word of warning, you're going to need your own. Comparing the new one to an original, it looks exactly the same. I mean, I'm really impressed with how they styled it. It's got all of the same ports on the back, got the joystick in the really annoying place. Oh, they've got the difficulty switches in the same spot. They've added this one. That is whether you want it in 16:9 or 4:3 format, and an HDMI out instead of the annoying cable. Okay, so you don't see until you get to the back that it is a 1 amp adapter. So we're going to have to provide that. So I'll have to check in my bin of stuff. So what we're going to do is we're going to hook this one up and do some comparison because I've got my original out there. So I'm going to pause and get everything set up, and then we'll get right back to it. Okay, got everything hooked up, and I took that 10-in-1 cartridge that came with the new system, went into the other room and snagged original copies of every single one of the games that they listed on that, and they're sitting right here. So what we're going to do, since I set up my 19-inch TV and this HDMI one, we're going to go through and we're going to check each one of them. We're going to compare them side by side. An original Atari 2600 with the original cartridges versus the new 2600 Plus with the 10-in-1 cartridge. Let's get started. Okay, I didn't notice this before, but it's got dip switches on the back, and it tells you how to actually select the game that you're going to play. So it's not an all-in, you have a menu that you scroll through. You're going to actually have to change these switches to pick the game. So it says, find the game on, that explains it. So when you look at the cartridge, I didn't see this and understand it, but these are the switch positions to select each different game. Interesting. So with all of them on, it is adventure. So we'll start with that one. They are all on. So let's put that into the 2600 Plus. We've got my original copy of Adventure. We'll put it in the 2600 Original. Okay, so we have it set up widescreen. You can see the comparison here. Maybe that TV needs a little adjusting since I pulled it off of the street, literally. Let's turn this off and put it in 4:3 format. I notice that it's only outputting in 720p. Okay. So I honestly don't remember if I ever played Adventure, but let's see what we can find out. Usually you start them up by hitting the reset switch. We have killed the dragon. Let's try the same thing on the 2600 Plus. Dragon died quick. Okay, now let's try this test. One of the things that they were saying is that you can use your original cartridges in the 2600 Plus. Let's try it. Okay, that is a really good test. We pulled the cartridge out of the original 2600, put it into the 2600 Plus. Plays exactly the same, and I gotta tell you what, this takes me back 40 years. 50, I don't know, well, a really long time. My personal history with Atari started back in 82 or 83. And a little bit of family drama went on with that. I knew that I had wanted one for a really long time, and Christmas was coming. And way after the fact, I found out about all of this. But my mom had gone out and bought an Atari 2600 for my sister and I for Christmas. Now, this was in 82 or 83, and I believe at the time the price was about $150. That's about $500 in today's dollars. That's a lot of money. And by the way, Mom, if you're watching this, I did not realize what a big deal that was when I was 11 years old. Thank you very much for this. So she had bought it, and it was in the car, and the car got broken into, and the brand new in the box Atari was stolen. And she could not get another one. She had to make a police report, she had to file for the insurance, and waiting for all of that to be processed in order to get the money to buy another one for Christmas, it just wasn't going to happen. There was not enough time for the insurance to do their investigation, you know, and all the stupid things that you have to do with stolen stuff. The insurance company is waiting on the police, and the police are like, we got a lot going on that are a lot bigger than a stolen video game. So what she actually managed to do was, one of the bosses where she worked had one that they had already got tired of. So in essence, he told her, you can buy this one, but I'll give it to you now so you have it for Christmas, and then you pay me when the insurance claim is done. So that's what actually happened. So I have never actually had a new in-the-box Atari 2600 until today, when this 2600 Plus showed up. And we played the hell out of that thing. It caused a lot of fun, but we're going to go through. I did want to show you the cartridge again. If you look at the front, you can see that the next game is Combat, which is the one that came with the Atari we had. And you just have to turn off dip switch 1. So flip it over. So it's like that. And we should have Combat on the 2600 Plus. Big difference in the colors between this and that. But I'm curious about something. I know that they were advertising this as being backwards compatible. You can use all your old cartridges, but it did come with this 10-in-1 cartridge. I was not expecting it to be dip switch selectable, but I'm curious. Let's just try something here. Will this 10-in-1 cartridge work with an original 2600? Look at that. It actually works. This 10-in-1 cartridge will work with an original Atari 2600. But even though we got all of these here, there is another thing that the 2600 Plus said it was going to be able to do, which is play Atari 7800 games. I've got some of those. Let's check it out and see what happens. Went into the other room, grabbed my Galaga cartridge. Let's see what happens. Look at that. Blarg, I am dead. Okay, the 7800 works as well. I'm really happy about this. Let's open that other box that we had. I bought this, the 4 games in 1 cartridge with the paddles. Looks like the same deal on the 4-in-1 cartridge. Got the dip switches on the back. The nice new feel. Oh, those got good action to them. I like those. Just like the originals, 2 controllers plugged into 1 plug. Okay, the 1 cartridge. The first game on here is Breakout, classic Atari game. Oh, I suck. Game over, man. I'm gonna have a lot of fun with this thing. I really am glad that because of this, I'm able to get brand spanking new controllers. You know what? Didn't try that. Let's try that. This is the new controller that came with the 2600 Plus. Everything seems to be identical, so let's plug this into my old 2600 and see if it'll work. Okay, original combat cartridge, original 2600. Listen to that realistic tank. That is perfect. This is the game that you annoyed your sister with. I had a sister. She hated this game. But yeah, now we know that the controllers are identical to the original too. They work in the old console. So if nothing else, I've got known good controllers that I can use with my old consoles. Very happy about that. So, what are my thoughts on the 2600 Plus? Was not expecting it to be this much smaller than the original. I thought that they were recreating it 1-to-1, so wasn't expecting that. Really disappointed in the fact that they did not include a USB power adapter. You have to provide your own. If I had gotten this thing on Christmas morning and I didn't have an extra USB adapter rolling around, I mean, yeah, everybody has one because everybody has a phone, but they're so cheap. I don't see why they wouldn't throw one in so you didn't have to take your phone out of the wall to plug it in. The colors are nice and clear on there. I have to admit, I miss the scan lines. I don't see anything that would allow us to emulate those. I do know that this thing emulates the hardware. So when you plug a cartridge in, you see it automatically comes up with the Atari Fuji logo and it says loading the game, and that is actually going in and pulling all the data off of the cartridge in order to emulate the hardware. There's no actual 2600 hardware in here. But for what it is, it's good. I mean, if you never had a 7800, you can play those games. And that's pretty slick. All in all, is it worth it? Well, it depends on how much nostalgia factor you've got on this thing. If you're like me and you had one when you were a kid and you've got a whole bunch of cartridges, yeah, great. But if you're like me, you have all the cartridges and you've got a few 2600s, you could play it anyway. What this does do is it means that you don't have to worry about finding yourself a CRT to plug it into. You can't even hook one of these things up to one of the more modern TVs as far as I know, because this puts out an analog TV signal, and most modern TVs don't have that anymore because of the FCC switching everything from analog broadcast over to digital. But there is something to be said for having the CRT, just having that high-pitched whine that let you know that the TV was on when you walked in the room. And I can't get over the nostalgia of that. So will I play with the 2600 Plus? Yes, I will. Will I also play with my 2600s and my 7800? Yes, I will. I've got a larger TV in the other room specifically for that purpose. If you're just getting into the retro video game thing and you don't have an original Atari sitting around, this is a great one. It's kind of pricey, I'll grant you that, but you can pick up games pretty cheap anymore. I've been getting them anywhere from $1 to $5 depending on what they are. If you've already got an Atari 2600, I really don't see the benefit of getting one of these as well, because it's already there. I mean, this is just really all you're getting is the ability to hook it up to a modern TV. The 10-in-1 cartridge is neat, but as you saw, I've already got at least one of every one of those games. So not a real benefit for me there personally. The ability to play the 7800 games, that's a bigger bonus, because the 7800s are a little bit harder to find, and you usually wind up paying a little bit of a premium for them because they were on the tail end of the Atari world. So kind of you wind up spending a little bit more for a used 7800 than you do for a 2600. So should you get one? If you're like me and you want to have everything Atari made, then sure, why not? Get one. Personal recommendation, if you don't already have one, if you don't already have a 2600 and you really want one, for whatever reason, your own nostalgia, maybe you want to show your kids or your grandkids, in my case, what it is you played when you were a kid, then sure. If you already have a 2600 and it's working great for you and you don't have to do anything, quite frankly, if you're a completionist and you want to get one because it's the Atari, I think that I might wait and see what happens, see if that price comes down a little bit. I honestly don't know if this is worth the money I spent for it. Now, the controllers, yeah, go ahead and buy those because they will work with any old consoles that you have. So I'm a big fan of the completely new controllers. They feel the same, they're good, they connect right up. But ultimately the decision is up to you, whether you get one or not. I'm going to have fun with it. I might hook this up to just for the hell of it, I'm going to play these old 8-bit games on a 75-inch big screen TV in surround sound because I'm ridiculous that way, mostly. Anyway, thanks a bunch, you guys. Thanks for joining me. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a like. If you're new to this channel, if you've never seen anything, please subscribe, hit that bell, notify, and maybe check out some of the other videos. I've got a lot more systems and a lot more nerdy stuff that I'm going to be going through, and I'd like to share it all with you guys. Tell you a few stories maybe. Talk to you later. Remember, it's not hoarding if it's cool shit. See you guys.
Thank you for watching the Scruffy Looking Nerd Hoarder, station SLNH, the Internet. This concludes our broadcast day.